Welcome to Gapology Radio with your hosts Mark Tinas and Brian Brokoff, authors of the leadership development books Gapology, IMBAR, and Speed of Purpose. At Gapology, our purpose is to help leaders achieve their greatest potential. To learn more about our groundbreaking books and training services, visit our website, gapology.org.
Hey everybody, welcome to Gapology Radio. If your team struggles with devoting the necessary time to step away from their busy lives and sit down with a book, they may actually be a great candidate for Gapology on Audible. Help the team better understand the Gapology language that you use every day with the method of delivery that's best for them. They can listen in the car on their way to work each day or during their morning cup of coffee as they work remotely. Sign a section or two each day to create a culture of learning and to show that you value team growth. For a link to the Audible version of Gapology, just visit our website, gapology.org. And as for tonight, we're going to continue the conversation around why leaders matter by looking at the impact you can have on leading a team through the DABA Change Ladder. So let's go ahead and get the show rolling with Mark Tinas. Hey Mark, how you doing?
Good, Brian. How are you?
I'm good. I'm kind of hungry. We had kind of a wimpy dinner tonight, but and I know you're kind of batching it this week, aren't you? I know Darla's out of town.
Yeah, it's a struggle. I haven't had dinner yet. I'm like starving.
What do you typically make when she's not around?
I make a trip to a restaurant.
Oh, okay. You're not good at cooking anything?
You know, I'm really good with tri-tip on the barbecue.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Everyone likes that. I slice it well.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the weekends, I'm really good at a big frying pan of bacon. I can make it like special. And that's about it.
That's your specialty is bacon.
Well, you haven't had it, so don't laugh.
I mean, you put it in a pan and turn.
You'd be begging me for it if it was here right now.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty good. That's I'm impressed. You can cook bacon. That's good. My specialty is eggs. So together it'd be perfect.
We would make great business partners. What a great idea.
What a perfect idea.
Why did you move to Kansas City?
Oh, I know. We could go on the road with bacon and eggs.
I mean, you should live down the street is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Saturday mornings, can you imagine?
Yeah. Yeah, swing over with a carton of eggs. You can, put on your specialty bacon and we'd be good to go. We could record the podcast right there.
I'm starving now.
Oh my God. It's just a good thing we're each married and have people that actually provide healthy options for us.
I mean, our wives are great cooks, so we're very fortunate.
Yeah, absolutely truth.
I call Darla on the way home and say, what's for dinner? And, I think about it all the way home.
Right. And right now she's just sitting there rolling her eyes, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, she's in Colorado, but yeah.
Yep. Well, so tonight, to switch gears here a little bit, let's continue our conversation around why leaders matter. I thought this week would be interesting to talk about DABA because I really feel like as teams move through change, the leader's role in guiding them and supporting them and that type of thing is really, really a critical element. If you have a weak leader that struggles with helping people move through change, it can be very disruptive to the business, can create a lot of fear, anxiety, and so forth. And so I thought it'd be interesting to approach DABA, and we'll walk through what that is and everything for new listeners. But I thought that'd be a good topic this week. What do you think?
I think it's of great significance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Leaders have got to lead through change because change is continuous. It's ongoing. It's every day, every week, every month, every year, whatever scenario would apply. So leading through change is a significant component of the leadership that great leaders must have. We have found that a significant number of leaders do not understand DABA, and they do not know about it. So that's a big deal. So if you don't know what we're talking about right now, you need to get this, because it'll help you greatly. We did the you remember when we did the SHRM conference,
Yeah.
Society of Human Resources, in North Dakota? We had 650 human resource vice presidents and directors and et cetera there. And we taught Gapology, but it was interesting in the comments from the group at the wrap up. DABA was something that was significant to that group. They didn't necessarily know about it. It affected their leadership, and the feedback again from that conference has been fantastic. So we talk about it significantly in Gapology. So if you haven't read Gapology, you may not know about DABA, but it is what would you call it? The steps of change, the process of change, in essence.
Yeah. It's the the steps people go through as they first experience change happening to them in their workplace, to them individually, and so forth. And as they move all the way to really accepting the change, there's some significant steps that they go through emotionally. And the leader's role is really critical to help them continue that path so they don't get stuck at any of the levels, so they move through it smoothly.
Yeah, so let me just give everybody the DA and the BA. So if you're taking notes, when a change happens, humans go through the following phases. You could call them steps. We call them steps in Gapology. They're sort of phases. So the D is denial. Oh my God, this isn't happening. What? We just changed this process. So everyone goes through that. It is built into us. That's the D. The A is anger. I can't believe they're doing this to us. I just learned the other process. So it's a significant piece. And what we found is that after the D and the A, there is literally a wall. And there are people on the team that go back to D and then back to A and then back to D and back to A, and they cannot get over the wall. So we teach that in Gapology. We found a lot of leaders don't know this stuff. So this is a big deal, because it not only impacts you individually, because you may experience the D and the A and not go over the wall, but it impacts your team. So the B is bargaining. That's on the other side of the wall. So you know you're making progress when they say, well, okay, what if we did it this way? That's a big step in the right direction. And the final A is acceptance. So DABA is denial, anger. There's this wall then in the middle, and then bargaining and acceptance on the other side of the wall. So just so you know the context of everything we're talking about tonight, that's DABA. And you got to get Gapology and read through it and understand it, because it is absolutely key to knowledge, importance, and action, which we teach there. So
yeah, I think there's a couple of things to understand here in addition to what you said there, Mark. First of all, some people may recognize some of these steps. They're part of the grief model, so you may understand that that and how it connects and that kind of thing. And certainly these steps are similar. But the DABA change model is all about looking at change and how you as a leader can best help people move through that. And I think we need to talk about the risk there. So if people get stuck behind that wall, that and stuck in that denial or that anger, those feelings, those emotions can be extremely infectious to the rest of the team. So if you have a group of people that are just always angry about it or always in denial about it, it can really bleed to the rest of the team. And I think it's important that leaders understand that, so they really come to grips with the importance of their own ability to move people past that wall onto bargaining and acceptance.
Yeah, well said. So we're talking about leadership matters, and leaders matter greatly as they lead the team through change. And when you lead the team through change, you will experience DABA. So you have got to be an expert in DABA. Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
It's would you agree, Brian?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you need to plan for it, build out a leadership rhythm around each of these steps. So if you experience people in denial, what are you going to do? Plan
and you
for that
will experience
stuff.
people in denial.
Right. So
you will experience that. So you have to
Mhm.
get ahead of that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, prepare for it.
Yeah. So leadership matters. So when we talk about the topics that we're on right now, leaders matter because change is continuous. Therefore, DABA is continuous. And again, we find leaders that do not know DABA. They do not know that they go through DABA, and they do not know that their team is going through DABA. So therefore, change creates chaos when it doesn't have to. So you can get ahead of this by fully understanding DABA. So as we've met with hundreds of groups of people, we have found that DABA is somewhat of an unknown. So know it, share this podcast. But DABA is the process of change, again, that we all go through. So think of it in the simplest terms as we're changing a process, which we do all the time, by the way, in the organization, right? We change a process. So not only are you going to go through DABA, but the team is going to go through DABA. And if you know that in advance, you can plan for it, you can organize around it, you can create execution events to overcome it. And your job as the leader is to get the team over the wall. So denial, anger, the wall. On the other side is bargaining and acceptance. So you need to think about that continuum, figure out how to get yourself over that wall in order to get the team over that wall.
Yeah. The leader's acceptance is critical. Any sign that you disagree, any sign like that will plant doubt in the team. So, either gather help from your own leader, maybe your peers, that type of thing, to help you understand and accept the change before you even talk to your team.
Yeah, that's huge. So DABA is a reality. It's part of human behavior. It's part of the human mindset, and it is very real. And it expresses itself every time there's a change. So you can anticipate it and you can manage through it. And when you learn to do that, you will be an incredibly successful leader. Again, I would tell you, most leaders don't know about it. Again, it's one of the most significant things that we've heard from some groups about gapology. It's sort of brought that to light for them so they can close gaps. So often gaps are caused by DABA, which again, this unknown gap causer is DABA. And it's something you have to understand. You have to overcome it for yourself, and then you can help overcome it for the team. And the wall we've talked about in DABA is very real. It's very real. It's those people that after you've made a process change, they have to be terminated because they're not on board. That's simply because they didn't come over the wall. Maybe they didn't come over the wall because you didn't lead them over the wall. It may literally be about you. And when you learn DABA, you can really affect the outcome in a great way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think most leaders look at change sort of through a tactical lens. So they're looking at, what are the tactical elements that need to happen to, change whatever's happening in the organization. They don't stop and consider the emotional element. So looking at DABA gives you just a nice tactical way to look at emotion. I think it really does provide the clear steps there.
Yeah, we were with one organization that had probably done the same thing for 20 some odd years. So everyone knew the same thing. And then we changed that thing. And DABA was incredible. People needed to leave the organization. They couldn't come over the wall. Others were inspired beyond belief. The results after the change were significantly upside, but DABA is very real. So some tips, let me give you some tips for leadership. So the first thing you need to think about is you need to go over the DABA wall first. So you need to get past denial, past anger over this reorganization of the company that you didn't know about, whatever it is, and get to bargaining and then to acceptance. Because if you go over the wall and get to acceptance, the second A in DABA, you can talk to the team about how you got over the wall, why you believe in this, why it ties to the purpose, how significant it is for the future of the organization. You can bring a ton of people over that wall if you're over the wall first. If you hesitate and don't go over the wall, you'll stop the whole team from going over, and whatever this process change is will fail. It is about you. Leaders matter. Leaders matter most. It is about you.
Yeah, it actually reminds me, I saw a video clip. I can't remember where it was, if it was something in social media. Anyway, it was, if you picture like Marines or whatever, Army, whatever, running through the obstacle course, everybody can picture that. And you have the wall there, right, with the rope hanging down, and the first person runs up to the top. I remember this video where the person stopped at the top and helped the next group of people climb over. I just think that's a perfect vision for what we're talking about here. So if the leader can get over that wall, and can really help everyone else, because you've already experienced it, you can speak to it, people will believe in you. I think that is a critical element.
Yeah, we did that literally at one event where we had an 8-foot wall, and we had to get everyone physically over the wall. Everyone. So the success of the event was that we could get everyone over the wall. So we had people literally standing on other people's shoulders with other people up on the wall, lifting them over.
Oh, wow.
And after about an hour, we got everyone over the wall, regardless of their physical capability.
Wow.
And it was just exemplifying DABA.
Mm-hmm.
And awesome. It was really quite unbelievable. Everyone that was in that event will likely remember that for their lifetime. One other tip that we would add is that if you can tie the significance of the change that's occurring to the purpose of the organization, you'll help people get over the wall very quickly. You'll help your team get over the wall very quickly. You can go over the wall very quickly. So when you tie it to the purpose of the organization, this is why this matters. This is how this ties to our purpose. You need to explain that to the group. So when there's change, you as a leader own it. You've got to explain it to the team. You've got to explain why you're on the other side of the wall. You don't need to talk to them about DABA. They don't know about DABA. You need to talk to them about why the change will drive the purpose of the organization. When you do that, they jump over the wall. And when you get people jumping over the wall, others will come. And you'll have great execution.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Mark. The connection to purpose, I don't think a lot of leaders do that. That they'll give them the reason why from maybe a financial standpoint, or some of those kinds of things, but they don't always tie it to, what is it really going to do for our purpose? What is it going to do for our customers? What is it going to do for the team members? How is it going to impact, each of them? I think that's a critical element that people don't always consider.
Yeah, one of the greatest examples I've seen there is a leader getting up and explaining why they believe in this change, how it will impact results, how it will impact the organization, and why they're on board.
Mm-hmm.
And that helps. The team starts jumping over the wall at that point.
Yeah, you know how earlier I said that the D and the A, the first A, denial and anger can be infectious, and I think there's a risk there that it can infect the team. I think at this point, especially, with the leader's acceptance, once you get to that level of acceptance can also be infectious as well. I think there's that impact that the leader can really make with the rest of the team. So don't just think that the denial and anger can be infectious. The acceptance can be just as infectious as well.
Once you learn DABA, it helps you lead. And to be a great leader, you have to understand it.
Yep.
That's what I know.
Yeah, for sure. No, this is a critical element that, like you said, we don't always talk about it. And it's a critical part that everyone goes through regardless of your level.
Yeah, the other thing that I found is that often leaders think that the first person over the wall is the best. That may not be the case.
No, right.
That may not be the case at all. Sometimes I've found that the last person over the wall is the best. So don't judge people by when they go over the wall, but understand they must all go over the wall. But when they went over is not a determination of how great they will be. I've seen scenarios where the wall was gigantic, the change was unbelievable, and the last person over the wall became the leader of the whole group.
Mm-hmm.
It just took them that long to get over. I mean, some organizations have not gone over that wall in decades. And now we're asking them to go over the wall? Really?
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable. It's difficult. And my biggest point today would be that DABA is real. And to be a great leader, you must understand it. You got to get to know it. You got to understand that you've got to go over the wall first. And when you do, you'll be a great leader.
Yep, absolutely. One of the other tips I want to touch on that just occurred to me too, Mark, is your messaging. So one of the ways to really package this ahead of time, especially when you're preparing to deliver this message, is to really think about the Gapology communication model that we talk about. Tell them what they need to know.
Tell the team what they need to know in relation to this change.
Correct. And then tell them why it matters.
Tell them why it matters. That's huge. And that's where you tie it to the purpose.
Yep. And then tell them what they need to do.
Tell them what they need to do. So you set them in action. That will cause so many people to jump over the wall. It'll be crazy. So again, Gapology and DABA are totally aligned. Think about that. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, totally.
That's all I got, Brian.
Okay. All right. I think that's good. I think we can leave it right there. We do invite questions, so feel free to reach out to us through our social media or shoot us an email at contact@gapology.org. If you have questions on any of this stuff, we can certainly help you, prepare and get ready for any sort of change that you may be leading your team through as well.
Well said.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you so much, Mark. Great job.
Thanks, Brian. Great job.
All right. I'm going to go make some bacon, so you have a good night.
Good night.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
All right. That'll do it from here. For more information on Gapology, head on over to our website, gapology.org. Everyone have a fantastic week. We'll talk to you soon.
This has been a Gapology Institute production. Visit us at gapology.org.